a health storm right in his own household. And it's even that way with marriages. You know, when you're married and your marriage is going through a bumpy road, or your relationship is going through a bumpy road, you look at everybody and it look like all their Facebook pictures, they're laughing. They look at everybody, it look like everybody got a boo. And you look at it all across social media and they're all smiling. But folks, sometimes, you know, those folks are going through stuff too. You pass judgment. Hey, God bless you, my chef of kinfolk. God bless you, Sister Erica. Good to see you. I was wondering about you all the other day. So if I ever need a fight, I know I can call them sheffers. God bless you, you my kinfolk, Sister Sheffer. I was, you know, because you can pass judgment on people so quickly for your own reasons. You can come to your own conclusions. But many of the people that are smiling, they're smiling to fight back the tears. They're smiling despite the pain. They're smiling because they're going through a storm. I mean, in the work that I do, across the board, I counsel with a lot of people. And I come into that counseling day thinking about all of my problems. You know, it goes personal. You start the day selfish. You're thinking about what you're going through. And there are literally days when I talk to people and I see and hear what they're going through that I literally pray. I said, Lord, thank you for the problems that you've given me. They say that the man who had torn shoes was so despondent and so upset until he met the man that had no feet. Folks, every now and then we judge from afar when we don't know half the story. We pass judgments on people. I've talked to couples that got marriage made in the shade, but you know, they share on me one-on-one. Well, you know, the first 10 years he was whooping me, you know, or this was happening. You know, folks, I think what happened when I shared with my friend from the class is that sometimes we're so ashamed to be at certain stations in life. But amazingly, folks right around you are right in your neighborhood. They're going through the same fight, the same battle, what you're going through, and they just look better doing it. The enemies, I say this all the time, that one of the enemy's greatest weapons is when you're going through the fight, the struggle of your life, that he makes everybody else look like they're living in the land of no struggles. You look at their social media pictures, all their children are smiling, all their teeth are so white. They look like them and they boo, so hunky-dory and everything else. But many times, you know, that's a face that we're presented on social media. Some of those folks are going through what you're going through too. You know, we pass judgment on ourselves. We pass judgment on others when we don't know the whole story. You know, folks, look, all of us in this life are going to fight. You know, the Bible says Job's lament was, man that is born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble. Steve Smith's translation, you ain't going to be here long. And while you going to be here, you're going to go through. So, you know, let's stop passing judgment on each other. Some of us are walking through a literal hell on earth. Sometimes that smile that you said, they didn't smile at me today, or they ain't speaking today. You don't know that what hell that they went through. You know, folks, you know, I know when you're talking about your relationship, you know, everybody, you know, you got a friend that's being abused, maybe in a relationship, and that friend that's being abused is ashamed because all of her girlfriends said, well, girl, I wouldn't take all that. But if the truth would honestly be told, some of her girlfriends are taking all of that and more. You worrying about a man that every now and then argues and hollers a lot, but she might be fighting Mike Tyson every night, and you don't know it because we pass judgment too quickly. The Bible says that man judges on the outward appearance. We look at things on the outside. We look at the superficial. We look at the way it appears. But it said, but God looketh on the heart. So many times when we look on things at the outside, we pass judgment. We make decisions that are not going to stay, that are not sound. Because look, folks, anything that you can see with your eyes is temporal. That's what Paul said. He said, well, we look not at the things which are seen, for the things that are seen are temporal. Folks, it's not going to last. This may be your down season, but your up season may be right around the corner. Stop passing judgment on others. You don't know what hell they're going through. Stop passing judgment on yourself. There are people that would have hung themselves if they had been through half as much stuff as you've gone through. I mean, you don't know everybody's story. You don't know how, all my life I had to fight. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my dad. That's some people's story. While my sisters were sleeping in peace, there may have been somebody who had to keep an uncle out of their bed, a big brother out of their bed, their own father out of their bed. And you don't think that changes that person's life? You don't think that makes it harder for that person to trust a man? Look, folks, stop passing judgment too quickly. We pass judgment without all of the data because we base it upon our own life. So many people have gone through hell and back and worn the t-shirt. Some of us just don't look like everything that we've been through. And it's so easy to pass judgment. I have folks throw shade on me and everything, and because they see a well-dressed guy, I'll give myself credit for that, and they with some diction, but they don't know that I'm from the hood. I'm from the real hood. That I dress up well, I clean up well, but dude, I grew up with killers. So when you don't speak to me, that's not the worst thing that I've ever dealt with in my life. I had no big brother in the hood. Everybody else are down the street, all up and down the street. I had no big brother. So if I got into a fight, there was nobody that I could call. There was nobody that I could summon up. I had to fight myself. And I had two sisters, one of them that had a smart mouth that would say this in a heartbeat: my brother gonna get you when he see you. So that got me in a whole lot of fights. But folks, look, you don't know what people have gone through. Sometimes some of us look better because of the sheer grace of God. But we pass judgment on people because we're so moved by this eye thing, by this ear thing, by the way it smells, the way it looks. We're so moved by perception, and sometimes perception doesn't give you the whole story. Yeah, folks, I remember one season somebody said, well, your daughter is moody. I said, well, you would be moody too if you took 11 pills a day. Folks, it's easy to sit on easy street and pass judgment on everybody else. Folks, some of us are fighting some horrendous fights. This whole thing about road rage, it ain't that he's mad because you pulled in his lane. He maybe got his hours may be cut at work. Mama's staying out late. Big mama is sick. The family ain't like what it used to be. There's problems at the house. The roof just broke. The toilet just broke. And money's funny. Folks, you don't know what folks are going through. So be a little nicer. Be a little slower to pass judgment on it. We want God to have all the grace and mercy that can be summoned up when it's all about us. But on the next man, we want God to be vindictive. We want judgment to come today. Burn them down today, Lord. Cut them down. The Bible said, fret not yourself because of evildoers. Well, Lord, they're evil. Cut them down today. And folks, look, all of us go through times that we're in a bad place. All of us go through times that we're in a bad spot. We pass judgment on everybody else lightning quick, but we want God to, I hear it all the time, that God is the God of a second chance. And I'll tell any preacher here and any prophet and any evangelist, pastor, teacher that my second chance was over a whole long time ago. That God is not only the God of a second chance, he's the God of a third chance, he's the God of a fourth chance, he's a God of a fifth chance, he's a God of a sixth chance. If it wasn't for the mercy of God, if I got what I rightfully deserved, I'd be long gone on. And I think that that's a problem. Preach, Steve. I just found my flow. Sometimes you got to do it. I think that's the problem, that we're creating Christian superheroes, that we now, the ecumenical greats, we make it think that we don't go through anything, that we never fall, that we never swear, that we never want to cuss somebody out, even with a collar on. I've had a collar on sometimes. I remember one time, my wife and I were coming down the street. It was during my season at Temple of Deliverance, and we're going to Sunday morning service, and she was late. as she normally was, and I'm a punctual person, and she's punctual some other times, but she changed clothes for the 8th or 9th time, and I'm at wit's end. So we're driving to church, and we're arguing about every 2 miles. We then came down, I think one time she even did like this, that she thought she was going to swing and everything. We're coming right down the street, coming to church. My collar's on. We're hard, and it's on. And we stop, get into church, and then we hear somebody, we hear, "This is the day." We go in our worship mode, and here comes a little gentleman. He said, "Elder Smith, you and your wife, I want you to meet my fiance. I just proposed to her, and I told her that when we grow up, we want our marriage to be just like yours." That's amazing. Here we are, me and the wife. We like we like Holmes. We like Holmes. Ali Frazier all the way down the street. But by perception, everybody else, and I thank God for our tough times and our heartbreaks, but we're still here, 26 years later. But I thank God for that. But it's by perception, you think that there's never a problem. And folks, that's where we are. We're teaching that in church. We're making ourselves to be superheroes and almost gods, when even the best of us are going to scarcely make it in. That it's going to be a cliffhanger. That if God, our righteousness is as filthy rags. Preach, Steve. I'm in my flow. I'm just telling you right now, we pass judgment on others too quickly, and many times we pass judgment on ourselves. We give ourselves a demerit. We think of ourselves less. But when people that have gone through half the hell that we've gone through have already decided to cut their own throat. Look, folks, things are going to happen. It's going to happen whether you're an anointed evangelist. It's still going to happen. It's going to happen if you're the house down preacher. Things are going to happen. It's going to happen if you're the traveling, smiling evangelist. It's going to happen no matter who you are in the body. Things are going to happen. But our problem is that we judge ever so quickly. We're quick to pass judgment. We're quick to throw shade. We're quick to come to our own conclusions, when if the truth really be told, all of us are in the battle of our lives. Sometime in it, if there's a season in your life that you're barely able to keep from putting your shoes on your head and your hat on your feet, what's light for you, somebody may be fighting the fight of their life. I've never had to grow up with any history of molestation or anything, so it's so easy to pass judgment on somebody that has, when our upbringing and everything else is nowhere near the same. Look, folks, all of us have been wounded. We carry the scars, we carry the tears, we carry the awful memories, and too quickly we pass judgment on on a person that's hurt in another area. What's easy for you may be hard for them, and what's easy for them may be hard for you. The enemy can come at me ever so quick. The devil, I heard this revelation once, that the enemy will never come to you with another man's poison. If smoking cigarettes is another man's poison and it don't do nothing to you, he ain't coming at you with no cigarette. The enemy knows your thing. He knows how tall it is. He knows how wide it is. He knows how many humps and rumps it has. The enemy knows exactly how to come at you, but we're so quick to pass judgment on somebody that's ill affected in one area, and we overlook our own. Oh, Steve, that's the word. We look for the speck in one person's eye while we overlook the mote in our own. Child of God, this whole thing is about passing judgment. You don't know until you walked a mile in their shoes. Don't pass judgment on them. You don't know whether they got $3.50 and making it to work. They had to pray. Some of us just drive and put gas in, but some of us there's some people, and that's been a season in our life where you just pray, Lord, anoint this gas tank. Touch it, Lord. Stretch it, Lord. That may be their situation. You don't know what people are going through, but we pass judgment on everybody else ever so quickly, but we talk about the mercy and the grace of God for ourselves. maybe we should slow down on the judgment passing. And I hear folks all the time, well, I've never done that. Many times you've never done that because the right person hasn't asked. Preach, Steve. I did just then. Look, folks, all of us have to go through something. All of us have problems wearing these earth suits. There are going to be dilemmas. There are going to be things that we have to fight and grapple with. And my word to you today is to make sure that you're not quick on the judgment end. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Let's stop passing judgment on others. Let's stop passing judgment on ourselves too quickly. Let's start, folks, many times if you get a one-on-one, we have to keep our public faces. It's amazing what will be shared when you get with that person one-on-one. Don't engage them in front of a whole lot of people. But when you share one-on-one, you could say this super marriage, and you found out that they had their bumps and their hills and their valleys, and they went through something, and they didn't sleep with each other for a whole year. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Child of God. Because I've heard those stories. I mean, there's stories out there like that. You're longing to be them, and many times they're praying, longing to be you. Yeah, your Chuck may have his faults, but Chuck ain't never been away from you for a whole year. Preach, Steve. I just preached the whole sermon. Because I've heard those counseling that we haven't slept together in a year for a married couple, that's something. My word to you, stop passing judgment too quickly. You never know the whole story. Get with that person one-on-one. Let them share. Many times you'll feel awful in your own life because you feel like you're the only one struggling. But if you share with enough people one-on-one, you'll find out that they're going through the same struggles too. That God isn't only picking on you, that everybody, the Bible said there have no temptation taken you, but such that is common to man. Somebody else is going through what you're going through, and even worse. But God is faithful, that he will not allow you to suffer above that which ye are able. And with that temptation, God will also make a way of escape. Child of God, let's stop spending time sending everybody to hell that we're still trying to escape from ourselves. Let's stop passing judgment too quickly. I want you to leave a comment where you're from, and I want you to share it on Facebook, because so many of us are passing judgment on each other much too quickly, and we also pass judgment on ourselves much too quickly. Be blessed. Have an awesome Wednesday. God bless you. You too.